Okay, before we begin this video, I just want to say, don't worry, it's not a sponsor. Firstly, I apologise for taking so long for making this video. I'll explain why later in the stream. And secondly, I will be talking about Alan Thompson simulations later in the video, for reasons you'll find out later. If you don't care about wanting to hear about stuff like Train Sim World 2020, or that Richard Powerhouse is making a class 156, then feel free to skip to the time code that will link you directly to the Alan Thompson section of the new show. Anyway, let's go! Good morning, evening, afternoon, night, and to viewers on the International Space Station. Hello and welcome to episode 39 of the Train Sim News Show, which is slightly behind schedule. I mean, it's June. August. I totally began recording this in August and have not been slacking for 2 months. June. I should have done it 2 months ago. I'm sorry. Anyway, I'm here now, unlike the contractors doing Felton Bridge. Let's just do some news, eh? Starting off with our good old friends at Dovetail. Woo! Well, I say Dovetail, but let's be honest, there hasn't really been much new content released by Dovetail this year for Train Simulator. Okay, sure, there's the third-party content, and, well, speaks for itself, third-party content. Actually, no, Dovetail have been busy with something. As Mr. Matt has pointed out, they've been busy pumping out a whole load of sales, because, if you have a sale literally every other week, it totally doesn't have an impact on the value of the products you're selling, doesn't it? And sorry to nick your line, Mr. Matt, but yeah, it's almost like they have been bought out by DFS. If you ignore those at least, well, there has actually been one route in particular that has seen a release whilst I was busy, not slacking. Southampton Central to not Poole. Yeah, it ends at Bournemouth because insert reason here. Oh, but I should be grateful, they included the Leamington branch. Yay! Okay, we'll ignore the fact that the entirety of the line can be done in, 40 minutes? Probably half an hour for the fast services, let's be completely honest here. And okay, yeah, it is slightly cheaper, but still, Southampton to Bournemouth. It's such a stupid concept of a route that's still full of errors, like for example, where is the crossover at St Denis? In fact, why does St Denis have such a botched platform texture? Why do some areas of the route look so much better than, well, what you normally expect from Dovetail? It feels like there were 2 teams working on this route. One team really wanted to put some effort in regarding like the track work and the signalling, and I'm gonna have to give props to the signalling. It's probably some of the best I've seen on a Dovetail route in terms of accuracy to the source material. But then there was the other group that really wanted to leave at 4:59 instead of 5 PM. You know what I mean, they're clock watching at 4:30 onwards on a working day. And the best examples I have are the aforementioned lack of crossover at St Denis, and them forgetting to add super elevation to certain parts of the route, like for example at Ashurst New Forest. I will give the route props in another aspect. Along with the nice little signal assets they've provided, Dovetail have also finally decided to include some new platform textures, which are honestly quite nice to use, as well as some filler blocks that actually match the platform colours this time. Thank you. But most importantly, a reskinned 3-meter platform loft, which means I can finally ditch the swale platforms. Yes! Took them long enough, but I am grateful for that at least. Also, these assets are quite nice as well as the Southwest Trains posters, but the posters at least have been around since the Portsmouth Direct extension thingy. Oh, I should also say that the Class 450 and 444 included behave and sound exactly as they did in the previous Portsmouth route. So I'll put it to you guys like this regarding the quality of the sounds. There's a reason people are using the 450 Enhancement pack. There's no real arguing about it, but the default sounds are rubbish. Absolute rubbish. If this route included the Romsey loop via Chandler's Ford up to Salisbury, or went to Basingstoke or Woking, or better yet, went to Portsmouth via the West Coastway, then I probably could have recommended it. And it really should have gone to Poole, because they ended at Bournemouth, you don't even get Bournemouth Depot. Whoops-a-daisy, I guess that would have been a bit too much to ask. But hey, at least you get Southampton Docks. What's that? You're going to be driving a freight train for at least, what, 5 to 10 minutes? No, seriously. You get Southampton Docks, don't complain. You should just be grateful for what we have provided. Foreshadowing for later. So, yeah, that's pretty much what I've got to say regarding that route. Oh, no, I've just remembered my favourite we just could not be arsed moment on the route. Take a look at this. This is Bournemouth Signal Box IRL. How did Dovetail... actually, I'm not even going to say, just... Oh, man! Oh, I could take a few steps back from my monitor and said, not bad. Actually, I'm lying, that looks rubbish! Would modelling Bournemouth Signal Box really be too much to ask? Let's end the Dovetail discussion by just mentioning, Train Sim World 2020 confirmed. And let's move on to JustTrains. I did say in a previous stream that I was going to look at the S8 stock in this episode. However, JustTrains have confirmed that they're making the Metropolitan line as well, and have shown several pictures on their development page. So I thought instead I'm going to review the two together since, let's be honest, it makes sense. You can't really have one without the other. And who knows, maybe a Class 165 Enhancement pack is released to coincide with it. Maybe. I mean, I ain't touching the network turbos at a 10-foot pole until any form of improvement is made. But don't worry, we've got something else to talk about JustTrains related. The Voyager was a candidate for an update. Well, sort of refresh, minor update, I'm gonna just say right now. The textures have been improved, you get that new 221 silk livery that Virgin's painted one of their units in. I think the sounds are better though. I barely remember what the original sounds were. In fact, to be quite honest, now that I'm hearing the sounds again, I think they're actually slightly better than the Armstrong Powerhouse sound. I know it's weird for me to say that, but that's just my opinion. I'm sorry if I've offended you. Unfortunately, the modelling, especially the interior, is still largely the same. It's just like minor refreshing. Plus the awful problem where the headlights are basically collapsed neutron stars still exists, as well as the bug where if you couple multiple units together, the headlights will stick on and it's painful to look at. I've got no idea if that patch to fix that issue from UK Train Sim still works. I haven't had the time to check myself. Also, the brakes suffer from Lancia syndrome, so it's basically like this. If you think you're stopping at a station, you're not stopping at a station. They are awful. Some of the worst brakes I've seen on Train Simulator. Next to... Actually, I can't even think of any other equivalent examples. Is it a bad update? Not really, it's just lacking compared to what I would expect considering how old the modelling on the Voyager is. The Dovetail Voyager is modelled better, but the JustTrains Voyager is better to drive overall. JustTrains also posted some new pictures of that East Midlands route thingy. Sheffield looks alright. The modelling for their other stations looks okay as well. Yeah, I'm not complaining really. Though if only I had a train that actually runs on the area to What? Yes, our good old friends at Richard Powerhouse have decided instead of making a Class 156 enhancement pack, we'll make our own Class 156 with blackjack and hookers. And yes, we're segueing into the Armstrong Powerhouse now because I can't be bothered to talk about anything else JustTrains related. Fight me. Mind you, I'm not without mercy. I think it's only fair before we talk about this a bit further that we pay our respects to the countless number of Class 156 reskins made for the original UV Class 156, as they will be made almost immediately redundant as this was released. So please, if you could join me paying some respects if you wouldn't mind. Bored now. Anyway, you guys know what the Armstrong Powerhouse are like. Since whenever they included every single livery of every single train, you know they're gonna miss off like, what, 3 or 4 liveries? That's more than enough for you guys to fight over making. To be honest, there's not much I can really say regarding the Armstrong Powerhouse Class 156, on the basis that there's only been 2 pictures posted of it at the time of me recording and editing this video, and hopefully uploading. I don't want to be that slow. Am I against the idea of a new Class 156 being made? Not really, considering how old the original model is. I'm okay with this. Modelling and textures look okay. Got no idea what the sound's like, no videos have been posted. I've only been on a Class 156 a grand total of twice in my entire life, and I can't remember if it sounds the same as the Class 150 or not. So, YouTube to the rescue whenever I have to research that. An enhancement pack that was released that is worth mentioning is the Class 365 enhancement pack. Got a funny story regarding this. Information regarding it was being posted whilst I was on holiday to the Netherlands, and my friend who was along with me kept saying, I'm not interested, I don't care about the 365, I'm not gonna make any scenarios. And I kept saying, yeah, you're gonna get it, you will, I know you're gonna get it. And then, about a week or so after it was released, I brought it up again, and he said that he couldn't stop driving it, because he really enjoyed what the sounds are like. And so do I. I like the improvements overall, including the improvement, obviously, of the sounds, better physics, you can isolate the dynamic brake, the multiple liveries, and the old front modelled courtesy of Mr. Guter Bahnhof. Is it OMG the greatest pack ever? No, of course not. But you know what, it's one of the better enhancement packs. It's better than the 175 enhancement pack, which is, well, yeah, it's better than the 175 enhancement pack. The passenger view is a bit lacking, to be honest. It still has the same problem as the original. Plus, they missed off this livery because, meh. At least it's available from DPSimulations, but, you know, it hasn't been updated to the sound pack. Okay, a bit of an editor's note here. Literally the day I was recording this, the reskins were updated to be compatible with the enhancement pack. Not mad in the slightest, it was literally on the morning I started doing my recording session for today. So yeah, they're linked in the description, can't really add any more than that. So, sorry. I wouldn't mind these liveries being updated to be compatible too. Oh crap, I almost forgot! The Armstrong Powerhouse Class 37! Whoops-a-daisy! Yeah, let's talk about that, shall we? And to be completely honest, I haven't touched it that much, despite it being the greatest train ever made on Train Simulator, apparently. And there's a very good reason for that. It lags. Okay, that's not the main reason I don't use the 37. The main reason I don't use the 37 is because I don't care about the 37 that much. The 1 or 2 variants that I was interested in using the most, the Armstrong Powerhouse haven't included because they're a bunch of tight fists. Lovely in every single way. What the hell just happened? Oh well, anyway, the Armstrong Powerhouse Class 37 pack Volume 1 is £25, and if you were one of the few people who thought, that's a bit too much for a train-on-train simulator, no matter how good it is, and you decided to sensibly argue your concerns that along with the requirements for the scenarios is just too expensive for me, I think I'll pass. Oh, are you in for a treat? A quick glance of the UK Train Sim thread and the Facebook comments, and you would have seen just how defensive people were getting. Some people were acting almost as if saying something bad about the Armstrong Powerhouse Class 37 is akin to insulting their mother. Really? Is the Class 37 that good? Okay, I mean, sorry if I find it, you know, okay enough to use, but, oh man, it's almost as if there are people here who take this hobby way too seriously, and that's coming from me. But the worst comment by far is the one we're just going to quickly read through right now. This one here.
As for the price, well, if you think it's too high, then please do what they have done and charge less.
Imagine an alternate timeline where a mega corporation buys out all the water on planet Earth and sells it at ridiculous prices to the point where it's cheaper to buy a Ferrari than a gallon of water. You just make your own water, it's easy! imbecile.
The sheer amount of work and detail that's gone into these new Class 47s is incredible.
Sorry, seen that argument too many times. 2 out of 10, no effort put in at all. See me off the class.
I do not buy AP products because I'm some sort of fanboy. I buy them because the quality is worth the price. Those who think it's appropriate to whine about these prices can quite frankly have their balls removed through their throat.
Hey, get a load of this guy. He's getting so mad that he has to resort to death threats in order to, well, stay relevant in his comments.
If you don't like it, don't buy it! Simple method works every time.
Oh. Look at little Goblin Jr. Gonna cry?
Yeah, sorry mate, I'm about as intimidated as someone using the Naval SEAL copy pasta, and to be quite honest, I'm a teeny bit concerned that people are getting, this mad because they disagree over the pricing. Not even if the train is good or not, just the pricing. I wonder if they'll be saying the exact same things if it was £30 or 40 or 50. I'm quite curious to see how far the Armstrong Powerhouse or any other developer could stretch that envelope to. Anyway, other opinions on the train then. Well, as you probably could tell with the modelling and textures, they are really good. You get lots of liveries and lots of variants. Of course, the one variant of the Class 37 I had a smorgasbord of interest in was the Class 37 Variant 6. Is not included in this because 1 + 1 equals box and potato, but, Volume 2 confirmed, I guess. Yay. The sounds are pretty nice as well. I quite like listening to the traction motors as you accelerate. Though the exhaust factor thing, the option is there. I always turn it down because, once again, it lags my computer and just turns it into a Nintendo 64. So, I'll pass on that feature. I don't really have anything else to directly give commendations to, but the reason I'm not jumping up and down is because I'm not a huge fan. I'll be honest, I'm not even the best person to review the Class 37. That's not my train, I'm sorry. I can only recommend it if you're like a hardcore 37 fan, but I'm not, so even then I feel like that's a forced recommendation. Think for yourself, just look at what they provided. If you like it, then you can get it if you want. If you don't, you're not missing out on much. And this is where the episode would end. Unfortunately, we have something else to talk about. You see, a while ago I said I'm not going to talk about the Alan Thompson and his little website in the future on the Train Sim News Show because, well, he got really, really mad. But why am I bringing that up again? Surely I'd have no interest in doing it after I said that. Well, to cut to the chase, I'm backtracking on what I said for one important reason. I don't take kindly to threats. And after a rethink, that's effectively what Alan tried to do. He didn't attempt to engage with me in a critical fashion, he just basically made threats to take down my video. And if I said no, he was gonna take me to court, only for me to tell him, you got court money, and he said, well, no. And what I should have said at that point is tell him to pack it in and act like the adult you are. I didn't because I was half asleep, and I quickly made something in PowerPoint to cheer him up. I mean, even when I said that I unlisted the video, it was still in the playlist, meaning people could still watch it. I'm surprised he even fell for that. Just goes to show that you don't really need to put that much effort to please those kinds of people. The way Alan has spoken to me and other people from what I've heard is akin to a internet tough guy as far as I'm concerned, and to be quite honest, with that realization in, I don't think he's worthy of any more, let's say, original insults than that. Instead, I want to focus my criticisms towards the website as opposed to the person. Despite several months passing, I still think this website has a negative influence overall with the Train Sim community, and I think it's only fair if I get out everything I want to mention right here and right now. But before we begin, let me just change the song here. I like Gran Turismo 4 as much as the next guy, but I think this song is going to be a bit more appropriate tone-wise. For those of you unaware, the Thompson Sim website is a download file library that allows users to upload user-created content for Train Simulator. Content includes, but is not limited to, patches, reskins, and scenarios. The site is seen as an alternative to UK Train Sim, even down to having its own forums, though most people communicate via the Facebook group. Now, if I have to be completely honest, the majority of the community uploaded content to ATS is perfectly fine. A big chunk of it is the old Train Sim design stuff anyway, but I do want to give commendations to a specific reskinner, a Mr. Budget TMD, whose most recent reskin pack, to the date of me actually recording this, is this fantastic Class 66 reskin pack, including a total of 112 variants in this reskin pack. Not bad, I must say. If the Class 66 isn't your fancy, don't worry, there are also some Gamebo reskins available. Nice. Of course, a few gay reskins aren't exactly going to generate any form of controversy. Well, not to me at least, I couldn't care less. No, the most controversial aspect regarding ATS as a whole is the subscription membership scheme. Oh dear. Last time I talked about this, I thought it was a scam. I still think it's a scam, but for slightly different reasons. Let's have a good read once more to see what's on offer when you spend £30 to become a premium member.
Premium accounts get the following great benefits. Full access to every download on the site, including the ECML merge. Access to the ATS install tool to install downloaded third-party add-ons with ease.
Might as well just say this right now, the ATS tool has a form of online DRM. Why is that important? Keep listening.
Monthly subscriber specials and 10% off payware DLC, early access to new products not yet released to the public, and a wide range of other benefits not available to free users.
Such as... Could you be a bit less vague, please? Remember, you're speaking to potential customers here. What makes A better than B? A offers benefits over B. Like, I don't know.
Further benefits throughout the year. Discounts on all ATS hosted payware.
But 10%'s nothing though. I mean, you're only going to be saving £1 if you spend 10. And even if you do, remember, you have to spend £30 to gain access to this 10% discount. In order to completely make up for that £30 you've wasted, effectively, you'd have to spend 300. You'd have to spend more than 300 quid. That alone is a stupid test, I'm sorry. Get offended if you want, but why?
Your support goes to helping cover the cost of keeping freeware completely free and unrestricted.
This is the thing I was talking about from earlier. How in the living daylights are you keeping the freeware community completely free and unrestricted if you are paywalling routes and assets, of which one in particular you have to pay even if you're on this little stupid scheme, and said content is being included with DRM? Yes, multiple things behind the subscriptioner-only status on the ATS website has DRM. That's the opposite of unrestricted. It's not even a case of where ATS is wrong. It's not even wrong with that statement.
Knowing that some of your subscription is going to help develop new products for the community.
Why not all? Oh, I guess that's a bit too much to ask. You know, it's only £30 at the end of the day anyway. Now, yes, it has been worded slightly differently compared to the last time I looked at the subscription page, but I'm still not sold. I still think overall the subscription thing is a scam because it doesn't directly support the community, it supports a community of people who actually are in this scheme. Because I'll tell you this right now, I'm not being supported by it. I mean, I'm part of the Train Sim community. Where's my support? Oh wait, I forgot. You only want to support people who are in this scheme. It's relying completely on a hypocritical system. We want to keep the community free and unrestricted as much as possible, so we're going to paygate our content and install DRM. You can complain about UK Train Sim and its 1960s dial-up download speeds all day long, But UK Train Sim doesn't paywall, nor does it put content behind DRM. A paywall by definition prevents access to content without paying. The UKTS membership is simply nothing more than a queue jump for all intents and purposes. The ATS membership is a VIP pass that even after paying an extortionate amount of money for it, you still have to buy certain content that isn't included with the VIP pass. Ask yourself, after paying £30, is that fair? Do you really think that's fair? A prediction I had to myself regarding this membership scheme was that it was going to encourage more and more people in the community to become greedy. I have a fair amount of examples here to prove my little point. We have, of course, payware scenario packs, a payware overhead catenary pack, which doesn't even look more detailed than the German TSC overhead electric pack, which I should remind you is free. I've seen a payware scenario, singular, for the Leamington branch. This is the only picture I have of it, I'm afraid. It got taken down. And I don't think I can top this. Just... No. Theory confirmed on the spot upon seeing that. Oh, I think it'll be a nice time to say that any person who makes a payware scenario using real-time trains is going against their terms and conditions. Not like it matters, but you know, just so you know for the future. You don't want to have to sit on the naughty step now, do you? But in my opinion, the overall worst thing currently available on the ATS subscription scheme is the West Coast Mainline Midlands and Northwest Phase 1, Part 2, Episode 3, The Resurrection, Electric Boogaloo. And I'm saying this as someone who hasn't even used the route. You may say, well Daniel, how can you review it? Well, I'm not reviewing the route in this case, I'm just having a quick look at the page, just to see just how alienating it can be to someone who's brand new. Okay, so the route goes from Stafford to Liverpool Lime Street, and travels through Staffordshire, Cheshire and Merseyside, and going over the bridges across the River Mersey between Runcorn and Wideness. Where's Wideness? I've never heard of that place. Maybe it's just off Ben Swallow Avenue. Alright, fair enough then. Well, let's look at the requirements. GML, West Coast Mainline Shat, Liverpool to Manchester, North Wales Coastal, the OHLE pack, which is in blue because it links to their own store, Trent Valley, and UKTS blocks, lofts, clutters and buildings. Now let's say you're brand new to Train Sim, maybe you only have one item of DLC, because, well, you're new and you're just starting to get into this game, and you discover the freeware community, well, or in this case, the quote-unquote freeware community. How is this new person supposed to know where all these add-ons are from? What's stopping you from directly linking all these to the Steam product pages where applicable? Or in the case of the UKTS freeware assets, link them to the main page where you download those from. The Armstrong Powerhouse do it, so what's your excuse? And you're charging £30 just to access this, on top of the requirements needed. You can't even view the comments without subscribing. Come on! Even Costco, which is a very similar method to this sort of subscription model, allows me to look at the reviews of products by other people even without having an account. Come on! You know, I'm willing to bet that you would have been bothered to link all of these if they all went to your own store. But no, they don't. So, you don't get the hyperlink treatment. Sorry. And it gets even worse. Like, for example, AP BR Mark II Pack 02. Well, I happen to know which pack is 02, but what about somebody who's new? Remember, there's 2 Mark II packs. Make it clear which one it's referring to. It's either A, B and C or D, E and F, not 01 and 02, at least when you're trying to make this as clear as possible. To add, I think they've been counting their chickens a bit by being a bit too ambitious. Now, of course, I love ambition. Ambition is great, but you can always be too ambitious. Let me read you what I mean. The future phases include Phase 1, Stafford to Liverpool, Phase 2, Option 1, Stafford to Birmingham, or Option 2, the extension to Preston, Phase 3, Crewe to Manchester Piccadilly, Phase 4, Colwich Junction via Stoke-on-Trent to Manchester, and a proposed Phase 5 from Rugby to Stafford. That's a good idea, actually, because, no, seriously, this morning, whilst I was testing the Class 350 Enhancement Pack again, by taking some pictures around Atherstone, I was just thinking to myself, do you know what route I could do with Rugby to Stafford? No, really, I could do it that route. Don't be fooled, I'm not saying I can't build it, I'm simply saying it's quite ambitious. You know how unstable this game is already with its 50-mile routes, and you wanna do all of that? No, good luck. Oh wait, it's gonna be behind the paywalling scheme. Never mind, pretend I didn't say anything. Sorry. The icing on the cake. If you thought people were being defensive regarding the Armstrong Powerhouse Class 37, the people defending the missing link, they're almost as bad. I mean, there were no death threats, but I think it was more like strength in numbers as opposed to actual firepower. Regardless, after reading some of these comments, just give me some Nissan GTR fanboys, please. Please. I'll read a few if I can be bothered. And screw it, I can't play this song anymore. I can't stand it. Play something else, please. Ah yes, some Gen 4 Team Galactic music. That'll do. Thank you so much.
I swear I'm losing brain cells reading these arguments.
You're losing brain cells? How do you think I feel? I'm probably at minus 50 at this rate.
Either pay for the subscription and get the route, because the route alone is worth a year's subscription money. No. This is the new show. We will respect his opinion. He's wrong, but we'll respect him. This show is balanced. About as balanced as Marshadow, or Primal Groudon, or Xerneas, or Toxapex. You get the idea. Moving on. Or don't. You're cool. But take your whining elsewhere.
Don't ask questions. Just consume product and then get excited for next products.
Because the only thing your whining is going to do is discourage people from producing content like this, and then we all lose.
Well, I'm still building my route, even if someone comes up to me tomorrow and says, "Yo, you sucks!" I'm still gonna just keep building. Look, everything I make, or everything I upload or showcase to social media, or other websites, and even YouTube, like with the news show and all my other videos I've made, I upload it with full acknowledgement that not everybody is going to like it. And you know what? That's okay. Because I'm not trying to please everybody. That's a stupid idea. Even if I make something which 99% of people agree with, there's always gonna be 1% who doesn't. And honestly, that's a good thing. I feel like it's only fair that if I get to give my opinions on whatever I want, you should also be able to give your opinions on whatever you want. You should be free to like or dislike whatever you want. When I started on YouTube, I used to be upset all the time if videos got even one dislike. Now I couldn't care less. What does that tell you? If you're not in that mindset and you're making content on the internet, and you'll just get upset if there's even one person who dares speak up against you, may I make the recommendation to go to B&Q or Homebase and buy yourself a spine? Please. Alright, I'll look at one more comment, but after this I think I'm gonna just drop it.
Don't know what people are complaining about paying a subscription.
Well, of course you won't if you walk around looking like this.
30 quid for a year's subscription. That's about, what, £2.41 a month?
Irrelevant. You can fraction that number down 1,000,000,001 times, and it's still gonna end up with a number that equals £30 a month.
Come on, the developers of this route have put their heart and soul in this.
No! None of that! Shame on you!
The quality alone is worthy of a payware price tag, so 30 quid for 12 months ain't exactly gonna bankrupt anyone.
But nobody's saying that they're at risk of bankruptcy. Look, there's a big difference between being bankrupt and being short of money.
Problem is, with some people nowadays, you want things for next to nout. Unfortunately in life, it isn't always like that. Alan has my vote all year long. Good work, keep it up.
I mean, there's a freeware scenario pack for the Midland Main Line that offers more than double of the total scenarios than, let's say, this scenario pack from ATS that you have to pay £5 for. Also, maybe have you considered the idea of people having differing opinions to you. Maybe they don't want to splash out money on this silly scheme. Ugh. I'm done. I'm done with this. Final thoughts regarding the ATS website. I don't think it's a good website. However, I'm not going to stop you guys from downloading or uploading stuff or even buying into the scheme. And I think I said that already anyway, but that was enough to get Alan mad, so anything goes, I guess. Does it really matter what I say? People are going to get mad even if I said this guy is the greatest person of all time, or if he was somebody worth locking up in Alcatraz. Some of the content there is perfectly fine, if not good. I just think the subscription model thing could easily create a case where everybody's fighting to make payware content, even if it's already been made before. And this could easily result in unnecessary oversaturation. Look, okay, the episode is technically done now, but I want to show my appreciation to two last things that I've seen recently. Now, I like signals, and whilst I was making the episode and slightly slacking, there were some brand new signals made by Mr. Jake Fuller of Fuller Simulations. These little fantastic VMS signals. You know, the lightweight signals that you've been seeing popping around everywhere? Well, there you go. Modelling is okay, and the textures are a bit bland on the posts, but overall, they're okay. I quite like them, and it's a nice and welcomed addition. Plus, they're free and easy to install and download. There is a glitch at the moment where they sometimes won't work unless you restart the game. Also, they use the default Kuju scripting, which, you know, is expected, but what can you do? I'm linking him in the description because, well, of course I will. And last but certainly not least, I've been helping testing out a new reskin pack that's on its way. A fictional Anglian class 158 reskin pack done by, well, the new group called Semaphore Simulations. The site isn't up yet, it's still most likely work in progress as I'm recording this, but I can report that the variants and detail put into this fictional reskin pack is really good. Even down to having auto numbering and custom destinations which look almost bang on to what you would expect in real life. It's just, I think the destinations are the best part of it. They just fit it so well. I love fictional reskins, and I love fictional reskins with attention to detail. And that's all I'm going to be talking about today. This episode's nearly 40 minutes, so I hope that's enough to quench your YouTube thirst. And there's almost an apology for me taking so long to make these videos. I'll try and be faster next time. In the meantime, I hope you're enjoying your summer. I am, at least. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll speak to you guys next time. Goodbye!